Okay, so I started without starting the video, but I'm starting to unbolt the factory cage. So at the rear, 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. All the seatbelt harnesses have to come off. Bolt, 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 and bolt, and bolts here at the front. So 2, 4, 6 on each side, and 4 seatbelt bolts total. I've got a radio installed in the roof of mine. I'm gonna have to undo some wiring so that I can pull the roof, and I need to also get rid of a CB antenna cable that's run through the roof to the radio as well. So this is everything that came in box 2. I think this is going to be the center windshield mount. Slugs, seatbelt tabs, and the mounting bases. 2 are domed and the other 4 are not. I'll probably reach out to Travis and ask him where he recommends the domed ones go. I'm gonna guess front windshield mount. Okay, I don't have an answer yet from anybody at Welded. So the 2 that are domed, I placed them at the front. And these bolts are also longer than the other bolts. But this domed one doesn't have as much of a recessed area, so the longer bolts make sense to go here. And all these are snugged in. And now we're just waiting on additional parts or an answer from Travis to say I put the domed adapters at the wrong spot. Okay, so I've started looking at these pieces, and it looks like he is circled where it has been laser marked, but it is hard to see. This looks to me like a number 11, so now that I've got some good light, I went ahead and used my paint marker and wrote an 11 out here where I could see it a little better. It's going to be very difficult to see the laser etching, but nonetheless, I was able to do it. Okay, so it's about 4:15. I got an answer from Travis. These need to be at the rear. So I've already got these mounted here. So I'm going to be swapping these for these. Okay, so now we've got the standard stepped adapters up front, moved the domed adapters to the rear. Okay, so now it's Monday 17th. The second package never arrived. on Saturday. So we're 2 days later, and this is now here. This is how package 1 of 2 arrived. It's plastic wrapped, and it does appear that it's the original wrapping from Travis at weldered.com. So I'm going to get all this open and sort it, label it, count pieces, etc. Okay, so everything appears to be here. The laser etching, if it's laser on these tubes, is very hard to read. I don't know that I can even make you see one, but that's a number 10, and I was able to find it on most all the tubes, and I have this kind of laid out on the ground the way it's going to install. Left side, from front to rear, the A, B, and C pillar. Then a center tube down the windshield, bottom tube at the bottom of the windshield. That's the top of the windshield. That's a center brace, front to back. Then the top bar for the back, seat belt mounting bar in the back, and then same for this side. So I think everything's here now for some light grinding, so this stuff will fit together. For example, that slug will not go into either of those tubes right now. A little grinding is expected. Okay, so about 15 or 20 minutes of grinding, and I've got all the ends, I think, ground where I will eventually throw some tacks. And I've fitted a couple of pieces here right now. So this is the slug fit here, and it fits good. No problem there. Here's the side, or where the B pillar connects. Looks like a pretty good bird's mouth there. The back is at a pretty good angle, and I don't know if it's going to remain that steep or not, but for now it is. From the front, looks like we're doing pretty good. Okay, it's now Saturday morning. Probably about 3 hours into this thing so far. Travis recently shared on Facebook that he had to source these bungs from China, and they're actually from a different vendor than he typically deals with. These bungs are longer than typical by about 3/8 of an inch. He recommends cutting 3/8 of an inch off of this tube, which he calls tube 2, and 2M is in Mary over there. And then cutting that tube down shorter will allow the back end to lower and close up that gap, which is not weldable at all. So that's today's plan, and here we go. Alright, so this is the welder cage. It's done. It's ready for paint. I didn't really know how to do the roof tabs, so what I did is I just put a bar across the top of the roof, secured the roof tabs to the bar, and then welded them on the inside only, so I have no additional height here. Like I said, there are no instructions with this kit, so you're kind of, you know, figuring some things out on your own, but it fits pretty good. I do think I'm gonna have to put a couple of ratchet straps on probably the last bung to get it to flex into position. That was expected. Seatbelt connections are all there. And it's probably about 50 degrees today. And I'm going to go ahead and get at least a coat of paint on it so I don't deal with more surface rust. Right now it's 90%, 99% rust free. A couple of rust spots are showing up just around the weld from Okay, so I didn't film all this. I just got in a hurry to have the cage on and have it done. But this is the weldered cage on a 2018 Polaris XP Turbo Dynamix Edition. The cage build went very well. I'm extremely happy with everything. I didn't even need ratchet straps to tension any of the bungs to get it to fit. I had to have help getting the cage into this position. Then I started by getting the 4 back supports done, 2 on each side, and that left the most play up front. Then I was able to pull those into position. I used a rubber mallet, had a couple of licks on it, and it dropped right into position, bolt holes lined up. I think the secret to that is tack everything with a good tack before you take it off for the final weld, and try not to let it warp too much because you've got it tacked pretty good through all the supports. Everything was tacked into place before final welding except for these pieces here. That's part number 7. I've already got my accessories on the cage and it looks really good to me. I'm happy with it. This is a rattle can paint job. I think we filmed that, but I'm not sure. It's not a powder coat or anything like that. but overall I'm very happy with it. And this was a weldered cage build. I think this cage cost me, I think it was $618 from weldered, with the accessories as shown. Single bar in the top and a single bar on the windshield. No extra supports in the back. But overall, I'm very happy with it. Time to build was probably in the area of 20 hours or less total. And you're definitely going to need a buddy. You're going to have some help when you're fitting all the stuff before your tacks. Don't even attempt it without help. But I'm very pleased. Very, very pleased.